Okay, so we converted 3 lists into a data frame in this example. Okay. Now let's look at converting a dictionary into a data frame. A dictionary into a data frame works even better than a list, than a bunch of lists. So you can have, so how does dictionary work? Dictionary has a key, colon, the value associated with the key, and you can have those, any number of those pairs. So here I have first item is state, that's the key, it's a string. Then I have a list. I could use just simply L1 here, that will work too. Then I have year, as that's the key, and then a list. Then population, POP, and then a list. Okay. So that's our dictionary, dict1, right? So now in place of the zipped object, I can simply use the dictionary. And the data frame function will figure out that this is a dictionary object, and it will apply the function properly to create this. So now in dictionary, what will happen is you don't have to give column names. You could, if you want to use different column names, you could do that. But if you don't give column names, the key will be used as the column name. Okay, so state is the column name for the first one, and you don't have to zip them. It'll automatically, pair the corresponding values into each rows. Okay? And then, of course, if you give an index, it'll use. If you don't give an index, then implicit index will be used, 0 through 5. Okay, and once again, if you use info, it's going to give you the same information. Instead of using lists, you're using dictionary with the same data, so you're going to get the same summary. Okay. What? I have it again, I guess. I don't need this a second time. I don't know why I have it. Series system, data frame dictionary. Series, oh, okay. This is a series assembled as a dictionary. So you can have series, okay. Instead of a list, you can have a series. Okay. And when you do that, you can specify data type. Okay, so that's the benefit of this. So when you create a dictionary, so instead of lists, you create the dictionary with series. So now dict2 is, again, you have the key, the first key is state, and now instead of a list, I have a series. And same here, here is the next key, pop is the next key, and we can specify a data type for each. So now the year also is now floating point, because I'm saying, okay, I want that to be floating point. Why, I don't know. Okay, so now I did not specify an index, so implicit index is used, 0 through 5. Okay. All right, so now if I want the year to be converted into a date time, I can do that in a series. So instead of using pd.series, I use pd.to_date time. So now if I do an info, okay, let's do an info here, df2.info, so it will give you This should be, here should be date time. I don't know why it's not date time. I'll look into it. We'll see. Okay, so you have two floating point and one object, but this should be, we did use date time here. Maybe I should use PD series. Okay, I'll take a look at this and we'll come back to it next time. Okay, now if you have a NumPy array, then you can use NumPy array directly, and again that will give you a data frame. So here I'm just creating a random number of 3 by 4. Okay, there is a 2-dimensional array. So then, well, okay, I should have done np.random .seed 1, so everybody will get the same answer. Okay, so you get 3. So the first dimension has 3 elements. Okay, first dimension is 3 elements. Those 3 elements are rows. The second dimension are in columns. Okay. But if you want it the other way around, we can. There is a .t function. We'll look at that a little later. Okay, so here, same example. I'm assigning column names and row names. Okay, like what we did previously. The same array, okay, with column names. Okay, and then the info, we've already talked about info. And then, there are 2 properties that we can use to gather the columns. Okay, so df2.columns will give you the columns. It's an index object. Okay, it's an index object is a particular type of object. So if you want that as a list, so you can do it like this. You can convert it into a list, then you'll have a list object. Index object has some properties. That's why, if you want it as a list, then you have to convert it into a list. Otherwise, it will be an index object. And then there are a couple of basic functions that are useful if you want to know. Here there are only 6 observations, so it's no big deal. But think about a data frame that has a million rows. Well, why million? Even 1,000 rows. You don't want to print 1,000 rows to see what's in there, right? So you can do a head, okay, df2.head, and then specify a number, how many you want. If you don't specify a number, 5 is the default. So here, df2.head3 is going to print the first 3 rows from the top. Okay, tail is from the bottom. Okay, and again, if you leave the number within the parentheses, the default is 5.